Oh, and that one. No, I'm sorry. Which one are we sharing with? Click on yes. So it's sharing your screen.
It's sharing.
Yeah.
It's gonna. Sorry about that. It keeps dropping, but so if we can make it work, we're going to talk about latest news Enhanced Pro today. There's a few features that are available in this component. This component is a component mostly made for sharing articles, especially the latest news. That was the initial intent, but it has evolved in a much more important component.
I want to make sure we're recording. Wait, what? I'm using your computer, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Click to show video feed, which means it is recording, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm assuming it's recording. Okay. Go. Keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. With latest news, you can select a certain number of articles. You can also use the component to work with K2 items. So it works as well for K2 and the Joomla core articles. There's a lot of customizations for layout. You have responsive and touch-ready animations. You can handle screens of high pixel ratio. You can now, since the last version, you can use lazy load for images. You have custom text support. You have pagination with infinite scrolling, and it's highly expandable, and especially through plugins. Today I wanted to show you a few ways of working with this component. First, create a simple module instance, and then we create a block view, and then we'll dig into more advanced functionality like custom fields and groupings, how to do related items, and how to do overrides with layouts and CSS. And I'll show you a few optimization tips, especially if you're using images. And then finally, if I have a minute or two, tell you what's next for the expansion. So without further ado, since we had a slow start, let's start with the demo. So hopefully, yeah, you see. I'm sorry, I think you may not see the screen the right way because it's a high resolution screen. Maybe why you have it like this. If you go in the information of the component, you have a few. In the next version, you will have a few informations about how to quick start the component, how to actually create the modules from scratch and the easy way. You also have a link to the documentation and forum and support. You have also available a few plugins, and it tells you if they're enabled or not. Now you have an installer plugin that allows you to enter your download key if you have paid for the component. That's very helpful for the updates like that. You don't have to go back to my site to download the next version. You can just do the updates right from the web console. You have a quick icon plugin that now is disabled by default, but you can enable it and it will add status information on the global control panel screen on Joomla. This screen control panel. It adds a status on what's new and when you need to update. You also have the same status update in the component screen. Here on the right side, you have all the latest version Do you see this?
No, I don't think they see that. They're just seeing your screen.
Yeah. Do you have the latest version, the one that's available? You can see the change logs right from here. It actually is a link to my site, but you can have to see what's new. You can directly enter your key and see a few credits. Usually, I add the credits for people who translate the components to different languages. You can also get updates on what's new for the extensions if you go to Twitter or Google, and you have a news feed also you can subscribe to. There's also a couple extra extensions, plugins that I will tell you about later when we go to the more extra stuff, more advanced stuff. So I'm going to show you how we can create a module right now. So you go to modules, select your type. It's called latest news enhanced. I have a few modules that I've created earlier that I will show you from scratch how to create one. So you select the latest news type of the modules.
So for the Rutgers folks, we tend to use this on people pages. This is what we're using to display the articles. So all the data is still stored in regular Joomla, and what he's showing us is a different way of displaying the articles. So you can have the image and the field, things like that.
So I have this website it's the vanilla website that I got from the new Joomla 3.9 version. This is a release candidate, so it's not for production yet, but it's going to be next week. So you have downloaded the Joomla website with just a few, I think it's a blog sample data. So I have a few articles already available for us. When I come to the selection part of the extension, what you see is in the selection tab is whatever you're going to use to select and go down the articles you want to show. So you can show articles and K2 items, and afterwards I'll tell you what news is. So we're going to use articles because we are on the core Joomla for now. We can select all categories, so we can just select which category we want. We only have blog in Joomla for now. You can say what categories you want, if you want the subcategories or if you want all categories that are on the blog, but there's no subcategories in this case. You can select by tags. You can, when your articles have tags, you can select which one you want available. You can also add keywords, meta keywords that it comes from one of the earliest versions of the component when Joomla didn't have tags yet. People used to relate articles between each other with keywords, the meta keywords that are in the articles publishing section. You can also select by author, and then you decide which date is going to be selecting your articles. If you want to select on created, published, or modified dates. You can also apply ranges. When you apply, you can say I want to show all the articles from the last month, or you can select between two dates. What you can do with this extension is you can also show not only the articles from like the last, so for example, 3 weeks to now. You can also go the other way around. You can say I want the articles that we show from now to 5 days from now, because this extension allows you also to get articles in the future. So it can work for events if you want, but it's very limited because there is no registration or anything of users. So it's just showing if you have an event in 3 days, right? You can use that for that.
So that would only be if you're putting events into articles, not using JEvents.
Yeah. See, that assumes that your events are all stored in an article. Then you say how many articles you want to show. You want the system to, for example, show only the last 3 articles. There is a new selection. You can also say, if you have several categories, for example, you could say, I want to show 3 articles per category. And you can say also, if you have several authors, you can say, okay, I want 3 articles per author. So you can actually show 9 articles, but at most 9 articles and 3 per author. You can also use this extension and have like 2 same instances on one page and show them differently, maybe with a different layout. So you can have you want to show 3 articles, and you can say the first instance will start at 1, article number 1, and then you can show 3 other articles, but it will show starting article number 4. So like that, you can have different instances showing different articles, but they follow each other. That's what the startup works for. So that's how you select articles. It's pretty straightforward once you get to know it. You just have to go from one tab to the next. Next tab, that's where you select the layout. When you use the core Joomla, you just use the default. It's possible to create overrides, of course, like any other module. So if you change the layout of a module through overrides and you give it a different name, then this different name will show in this list. Otherwise, if you create an override and it's the same name of as the original, you keep selecting the default, and it's going to get the override for you automatically. Here you select, when there's no data, you can have a message for your users. So you can add this here, and your data message. You can also tell which kind of configuration you want. If your articles are mostly going to look on the horizontal line on a row, you say horizontal. If you want to have them in a column, you probably better use the vertical configuration. It's mostly important when you start using animations. They can make or break the animation if you don't do it often. No, I mean, if you don't do it right. There are a few settings that are done that are still there, but they come from the old versions of the extensions when Joomla used to need more information. Like all items, when they are created, they are in a UL in HTML, and you may want to have, if you have animations or if you want to use vanilla HTML, that you may want to have an overall width of the UL. Maybe you don't want it to be bigger than 1,000 pixels. But usually it's taken care of by the extension itself. You don't have to actually enter anything unless there is an issue. Then you select for each item what's going to be the width. If you are going to show articles in a column way, you may want to just say 100%. I want them to be in at 100%. So that means that in the vertical column, they will also take the space of their container. If you are on a horizontal configuration, you may want to say, okay, I want my articles today take 30% of the space, which means that I'm going to have 3 articles per row. And I say, well, maybe I want them to be 30%, but I don't want them to be smaller than 240 pixels. And if they are small, if they get smaller, then maybe have one of the items to go to the next row, instead of having them being smaller and smaller and weird. Then you get to the head type part. The head is, in the module we consider 2 different things, the head and the body. The body is that it's going to contain all the information, the title, the text, the tags. The head is going to be something that's going to be added to the extension. It's going to be probably maybe the image and intro you have from your articles. It could be a calendar you want to add that will represent the date of when the article was published or created. Let's try with the calendar. Then you're going to say, okay, this calendar I want it to be on the left side of my body, on the left side of my text.
So this is a change, right?
Yes, that's changed lately. Yeah.
Yeah. So it used to be you would put the text on which side of the head, but now we define the head.
Yes, because it didn't make sense to have a position in the text if there was no head.
Right.
So it made more sense to put the position at where the head is located.
But if you upgrade the tool, it's smart enough.
Yeah, it's actually a change in wording and not a change in the background code. So you don't have to do anything. It's set up correctly. It's backward compatible.
Good.
Sometimes we have long titles, so you may want to give a count max for your titles. You may want to force the title to stay on one line, and if it's too big, it would have like ... at the end of it. Your text, you may want to shorten it, because usually you have long articles, and then you may want to say, okay, let's just put 75 letters for my text. And my text is going to be the intro text for my articles. Sometimes you have user asking for, if there is no intro text, that defaults to the meta description that's in the publishing part.
What's the intro text in the
intro text in Joomla, there are 2 parts: the intro text and the full text.
Okay.
The intro text is the text that's going to be before the read more
That's
separation.
Okay.
It used to be 2 separate fields in Joomla 1.
Oh, okay.
And they,
Oh, it was?
yeah, that's why there's intro and full, because it used to be stored as 2 separate
Oh,
fields.
so now they store it the same, and most people now don't know much about it, because they write the article and it's like one thing. But if you use the read more button that actually adds a line in your article, the text before that line is the intro text.
Okay.
And otherwise it's all full text. Well, actually it's all intro text.
I don't remember how.
No, actually it's all intro text.
I remember we stumbled upon that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, accidentally. Yeah.
In your module extension, you may not want to see actually the text that are in the text. If you have keys and divs and all these HTML files in your text, you may want to get rid of them. So you use the strip tag option. But sometimes you say, okay, well, I want to strip all my tags, but I still want to keep the links. So what I say, well, I just keep the A tag, for example. That's where the links are. That will keep all the tags, and I will remove all the formatting for the rest.
And then wrap is important.
The wrap is important. Yeah, wrap. We have you have the text go around the head, if you have a head, so that you show all the text, not in a column, but like surrounding the head instead of
Especially if you're in a mobile view, so the text will go below it automatically. So when you go into mobile, it stacks it.
Yeah, I will show you like the difference maybe once I get through this one. The linking part is very important. It's where you say, okay, I'm gonna add a link to the title or to the head, or add a read more link, or have a link at the end of my text, which is the append link, to get to my articles. So let's say I want a read more link. I want it to link to my item, to my article, or I want to link it to an article but opening in a window, or I want the link to actually open my article under my module.
Have you added the capability of custom fields in here?
Yes.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you have a custom field that's a web page, you can have the item go to that web page instead of going to the article in Gmail. So that is very nice if you did that. So thank you.
You're welcome. It was important to have it there. But when you have a custom field of type URL, it shows in the list here. If it's not a URL, it's not in the show. Like, let's see, we have to finish that first, and we'll go to that. And I'll show you just the basic stuff right now. I want to. There is a default for the read more button. You may well say, okay. You may want to say read the full article instead of say read more, which is the default. You can skin it with Bootstrap. That I'm going to have to review because of all the Bootstrap options we have now. This tool is becoming of a mess if I leave it with that.
But the class itself, having the classes there is very nice. So that's how.
Yes.
I don't use the Bootstrap button. I just use.
You can say.
And I'll put in button based on our template.
Yeah, you can say
button. Will show us the button.
Yeah.
This looks really clean.
So you can say button instead.
Thank you.
Instead of like you have before that as a button class, which is a Bootstrap class. I think it's going to have to be all like that because people are going away from Bootstrap 2, Joomla is also, and we're going into Bootstrap 4, but then we don't know what the changes are going to be for the next Bootstrap after that, so it doesn't make sense to have a Bootstrap button anymore. And then you can show the categories in your item. There's all this extra actually styling for the button, and you can have a read all. It's like would be a link that would be showing at the end of the module that link all articles. Like if you want to link to that specific category where all your articles are, you can link to a menu item.
Oh, so at the bottom of it, you can say like, click for more for all of our faculty.
Yes. And
we can select what menu item it goes to.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to see? We've been only through the selection and the layout, but do you want to see what it looks like so far?
Sure.
Let's see. I didn't do the menu assignment.
I'm assuming everybody can hear, but they haven't sent me a message. Dorothy, can you guys hear?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I'm sorry about my accent.
Don't be sorry about your accent.
I need to put a position. Would be nice.
That helps. Now, for the records, people, he's using obviously a different template, so the positions are going to be slightly different. But since you've been to the module class, you know the position, so it can show up somewhere.
Yeah. And I'm using the basic photo stuff for the start. So far we have that.
So where's your module? Oh, right up top.
Yeah. select 3 articles,
Just see the calendar.
I set the calendar, I set the text, limited the text, didn't put any link, just read the full article link. Then when you have created the calendar, then you go to the head calendar tab, and then you have seen that we have all these Friday and the hours and everything. You can not show the time, for example. You can select the formatting of your date, and you can select which calendar you want to show. Let's see, I want to do the flip. The flip, if you click on the check the documentation, it will tell you that the flip doesn't require any weekday.
When people have used your system as events, because you're showing us with the calendar, which date field do they typically use?
You usually do the published.
The published date.
Published date.
But if you want the event to be in the future, then the item won't be published.
No, but have it in the.
I know you can show it in your list, but if they click on it, they'll get an error because it's technically not.
And there's a workaround for that.
Okay.
But
you don't have to go into it, but I'm just curious.
There's a workaround, and it's explained in the documentation. You need to do something specific. You have to create an override for your articles because Joomla doesn't allow you to show articles in the future.
Right.
So it's nice for an event. If you want to show an event and you don't have to go to the event page, that's easy. So you can use the module easily. When you have to show the article, then you have to do a specific override in Joomla to allow that. Okay. It's explained in the documentation if you go to.
You couldn't use a custom field for a date.
You could.
But then will that show up on the calendar?
But then you have to make your calendar. It's gonna
that pretty picture that only has when you're selecting the calendar date to show in the header. Does that give you options of custom fields, or is it just? It does. Okay, so then.
Yes, it does.
Then that would work.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that since I created it. But yeah, you can actually do that. Yeah.
Right. Great. Okay, that's why I was asking you about the date for that reason. So. Basically, if you didn't want to use a tool like JEvents to manage your events, like if you only have one event a month or just not that frequently, you can create the events as articles, use the custom fields for event date, and then make it display this way. So
yes.
You're thinking about.
And that could be like an announcement, when we were talking about
Announcements.
So the announcement can transition to the
without using JEvents. Or it can have a link. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it like that. Yeah,
you get a calendar on both sides.
I've changed the colors on my calendar and we should have something now. Well, it's not clean and everything. That's because I didn't do it right.
I think it's also nice to have both. You can separate them into JEvents for future items, keep it short, not much there, and then you can have articles that go into detail with pictures and everything. To me, that looks better.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
In the calendar, you have a lot of options for styling, so you can add borders and all that stuff. Let's see what that does. Well, something like that. You can change the size of it or whatever. Well, once you're done with the calendar part, then you can go to the information tab. That's where you can add some specific information you want to show about your articles. And you could say, okay, I want my information to show after the title. The title is being like welcome to your blog. You can choose, there's a certain number of types you can choose from that are from the start. You can use hit, rating, author, any date. If your event was like a few days ago, the time, the category, and you can link the category so that you can go to the category view. Which tags are in the articles. You can also limit which tags you want to show. You can have the tag linked to the tag view. You can have the keywords that are in your publishing article. You can also show the a link to your article if you don't want any link anywhere else. You can share your article by using like Facebook and Twitter.
What is that one? I haven't tried that.
If you do share,
Yeah.
and then you go all the way to the bottom where you get the share icons, you can say, okay, I want my icons to have a background and like a radius, and I want it to be Facebook, Google Plus.
It's not showing it on the screen then. Is it taking too long?
I think maybe I've lost the connection.
No. There it is.
Wow.
It's just a little bit behind you.
Yeah, it's behind.
Okay.
And then if I go here, it will show you, and you actually, if you click on it, it opens a, if you click on Facebook, it will open a Facebook little page, and then you can share it on your Facebook.
Is that, does that meet accessibility requirements? So that has, have you run an accessibility check on those?
No, because you have to log into your account.
No, before the button. The button itself, is that, so if you hover over it, it says Facebook, right?
Yep.
Okay.
If you add, I mean, if you are the tooltip. Yeah.
Because that takes a plugin that doesn't turn on.
Yeah, share with, it says share with Facebook, share with, I don't know, for some reason my computer got slow. So you can do share icons, and you can use a certain number of information you can show. You have link A, B, C that are part of the article in Joomla. You can show them one at a time, or you can show all of them at the same time. And then you can say, okay, I want to append a new line after my information. So you can have all of them in one line, or having them on different lines, whatever you decide. And you can say, okay, I want my share icons for people to see only if they are registered. So I don't show them when the site is public, but if I log in, and go back to it, then I have them available to my users, to my visitors. So that's the basic of the module. Then you can add animations if you want to. I'm going to add more animations very soon. These are getting a little outdated. They use jQuery heavily, and I want to go to something that's more like CSS based for modern browsers. But right now, you can add an animation. You can say how this animation is at, and you can add pagination to it, like if you want to have dots under or numbers to show how many articles there are, if you can add a previous text, etc. That's the basic of animation.
And does the animation work well on a cell phone?
Yes, they are all, they actually, you can use a few finger swap and touch with it. And it actually resets itself if you have 3 articles on the same line, and then your window is very narrow. It becomes just one article, and then you can swap through that one article, and you get it. So that's the basic of module.
Okay, before we move on, people in virtual world, do you have any questions? Anyone over here, do you have questions? No? Okay.
I'm sorry, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm getting bits and pieces of it. It'll be easier once they see, you know, at the end, maybe even after this is over, we may show some Rutgers stuff so they can see how we're using it on your site. Yeah. So, that'd be helpful.
So you can right now you can see also that on my demo site you can see what you can do with it. Or undownload it or do something else.
Did you lose internet again? Yeah.
No, but it's slow, so it's just real time. Slow, it's okay. You can go to the global configurations, and it's an important part of the component also. You go to latest enhanced Pro, and you go to the shared options. It's all the modules and views of the component use these options. When you use images and you have trouble seeing what's going on, you can always use the show errors. Set it to yes, and it will give you error messages. The remove white spaces is important also. It will let's see, you concentrate your code so that it doesn't have any space in the HTML source.
Okay. I don't know how to say that.
you minify the code so that you don't have.
It condenses the code.
Yeah, it condenses the code so that the page loads faster. So usually you want to have that on all the time. If you use icons in the module, because sometimes you want to show icons for some type of information. You want to have the load icon font, but if you don't have any icons or anything, you just don't do it. You just remove it, and it will send you an HTTP request in the end.
So remove icon. Wait.
Load icon font
should be set to no.
Set to no if you don't show any icons, any specific icons in the module.
What's an icon? Like a calendar?
No, the icons would be, for example, the F or the G+.
Got it. Okay.
But you can, every piece of information you can show the module can have a little icon. For example, if you say, I want to show the author and I want to show the icon, you would add a little people icon in front of the author. So if you have those, you have to load the icon font, but if you don't have them, you don't do it. Let's see. I think the module was already on the shared. So if I do no, I don't think I have anything else with that. Yeah, you see. If I say no, the icons will show. Sometimes now I allow people to also use icon moon fonts. Icon moon fonts are fonts that are is a font that is packaged with Joomla. So sometimes I allow in my software to have the icon moon fonts to show also. So it's off by default because it's not used much. Then there is a very important part. That's a little advanced already, but I want to show it to you now. Whenever you have images in your extension, in your module instance, you recreate the thumbnails every time you load the page. So once you have done it once, the image doesn't have to be recreated again. So you say, okay, I don't want to reset the pictures. If the picture is missing, it's going to create it for you anyway. But like that, you won't have the server work extra. You have that covered. Then you can also specify where you want your images to go when they are created. You can have them in the thumb folder, which I not recommend anymore, but it's the old way. It used to be done in Joomla. Now you can also add them to the media manager in the thumbnails specific folder, or you can also have the images in the cache folder, which is actually nice because when you have them in the cache folder, you can go to the Joomla cache and they say clear cache, and you remove everything under one shot. You also have now an extra plugin that you can enable. When you enable that plugin, you can say, okay, every time the images I create with my module from this category, every time somebody edits that article, I want my thumbnails to be recreated. So this will eliminate for you the need to recreate manually the images by saying, okay, reset pictures to yes. Then you have the plugin take care of it, and you can even have the plugin letting you know when that happens. So you can have a feedback message saying, okay, these are being recreated.
So that's your tool. That's the one.
That's a little extra. Yeah, I created extra for you.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
And I thought that was very useful.
Good.
So it's in there.
Yeah.
So enable that, and then if you enable it, it's pretty easy. You go to auto clear cache image, and actually it's used now in all my extensions. So you have it for contacts and web links too. So you choose to have the pictures recreated every time somebody changes something in the blog view, for example.
And you pick the first image that appears in the article, right?
If you do, if you choose to get the images from the content, yes. Fine.
Okay. There are different ways.
Yeah, you can use the intro image or the full article image, which are specific. When you create an article, you have several ways of having images in there.
That's in the publishing tab. There's actually an intro image.
When you open, you have imaging links in the article. So you have the intro image, you have the full article image, which are two spaces for adding images. But you can also add image in the content. The problem with the image in the content is it's intensive to find the image, because it needs to do regular expressions to find images in an article.
So if we use that tab, the image, does it wrap it around the text the way we want to see it, or do we have to adjust the style?
In his tool, it'll look beautiful, but when you look at it in the article view, don't you have to set a class for it?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, because when you, like for example, in here,
in custom fields, we already, for us at Rutgers, we defined a class to use in custom fields, so that's why we started using custom fields instead of using this intro image.
Okay. I'm going to show you a view with images, and you'll see how it appears in the article.
Okay.
But let me finish the advanced settings that will help you.
Back to the configuration.
Yeah, global configuration. These are very important because that allows you to make your page go faster. The inline script, there are a few scripts that are available in the extension, especially if you do like animation. Sometimes some user wanted to have the scripts take less requests. Every time you load a script or an image or an extra file, CSS file for example, you tell the server I request something. And every browser is limited amount of requests you can make when you load a page. Sometimes you get too many, and it slows down the loading of your page, and the browser may just skip some. So some users have demanded to be able to inline the scripts instead. That means that the code of the script is going to be in the page and not a call to an extra script somewhere. So you can inline the scripts if you want to. You may want to try it out to see if your page loads faster. Because usually the scripts are very small, and that can save some time. And reset headers is important to recreate the stat sheets, because the module and all my components, they create stat sheets on the fly. They take all your requests of the options you have, and he takes some for just for viewing, so for the output. So it creates the stat sheets for you as it loads the page. So usually you want that to be done when you try the module, when you create your instance. And once your instance is created and you're happy with it, just reset the headers to no. It will stop the recreation of the stat sheets, and we keep the last one that was created. So these are kind of important because
and the style sheets that are set up are constructed or based on the settings in the modules.
Like for example, for the calendar here, this is something that's sent to the stat sheet to say, okay, I want the color. It sends the color to the stat sheets that's going to be created on the front.
Okay.
So if you can, if you want to change the colors and everything to see what looks best when you do it, you have the reset headers to yes. But once you're done with that creation of the calendar, you're happy with it, say reset to no, then the stat sheets are not going to be recreated again anymore. They're going to stay in the cache, and the page is going to go faster.
Yeah.
So there's a few things here and there to think about when you're done creating your instances. I've created, you can also create views with the component. I've created one already. I'm going to show it because it's going to be faster, since we don't have much time. I created the fitness blog. I've entered a few articles.
So when you say a view, it's a menu item.
It's a menu item.
Menu
view
item.
is a menu item in
Okay.
Joomla. Sorry, yeah, I used the
That's okay.
terminology.
You're talking Drupal now.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, it's like that in because it's Joomla is based on the menu model view controller paradigm, which is you have your model, which is all your data in some place. You have a view, which is the output in some place, and the controller is the action. What actions are going to be happening. So you have three different settings, and so the view is the output. In Joomla is the output of a menu item. So if you have your menu item, you say new. If your menu is a new, you select latestnewsenhanced Pro. You select the blog, not the blog for K2 because you don't have K2. You don't necessarily have K2, but if you have K2, you can do that. Say blog, and that's how you create a new instance of a video. I'll show you the one I created. You're going to find it pretty much similar with the way the module is working, except for a few things. First, there's no animation. It's a basic view like it's showing for a blog article view in Joomla. You have the pagination at the bottom. You have the way of saying how many items you want on the page. The selection is the same. The layout is a little bit different because I allow the showing of leading items. Leading items, I'm going to show you what the page looks like. Leading items are the first items that show on the page. So they could be like, you can have images that look a little bigger. You can have just a big one in the beginning, and then the rest falls with more regular size or smaller size. You have pagination, like here not much because if I set to 5, items, I will have the pages here. If I go to page 2, I get my leading articles and the one.
Okay, so the leading articles will show up at the top of every page.
Yes, and I did it like that because it's working like that in general. So I wanted to make sure that it stays similar. But no, it's true. That's it. Not gonna say that. The pagination, you can have it different. You can say the pagination is not standard. I want it to be a lot more pagination, which is I want to show the first 3 articles, and every time I go down the page or I click on the button, it shows 3 more. Right now. So I'm going to use the button for now.
Oh.
So
when you scroll down, it automatically loads.
Yes. And the beauty of it is that
You see that a lot.
when it loads the page, it loads the 3 articles. It doesn't load all of them. When you ask for loading 3 more, it just do the query for the 3 next. It doesn't do the query for the 3 first ones or
right.
the ones that come afterwards. It just gets your 3 articles.
You never reach the end of the page.
And when you reach, if you are at the end and you only have 20 articles, it's going to stop at 20.
I know that, like, if you do like a Google search on images, you never get to the bottom.
Oh yeah, if you do this kind of stuff, yeah. Here, you may, at some point, you may want to stop. You will. It will tell you there's no more. But that's how it works. I only have 8, so it's not really in here. Or you can use the infinite scrolling. It means that the page, the browser is gonna know that you want to go down the page and it's gonna keep loading. There's one way you keep going down. That's the infinite scroll.
It's taking it a while.
Oh.
We're like on a delay. That's okay. It's good because we're seeing what they're seeing.
So it's actually when it's lower, it's nicer to see. So that's the infinite scrolling. That was a very important request.
Where's the group by?
Yeah, I don't know.
We like that one. I like that.
There's a very little thing in the bottom of the pagination. I put in the pagination because I didn't really know exactly where I need to put it. It's that you can group your articles. Actually, when you order them in the selection, they are pretty much already grouped by themselves. But you can show headings for those groups. So like, for example, here I'm going to want to show the month. Let's see. Let's say the month and the year.
What would this group by? Is this for subcategories?
No, it's when it's the way your articles are ordered.
Right, but if you have multiple categories, like if you have your articles are in many different categories, it allows you to have a heading for each category.
Yeah, you can have a heading for each category. You can have a heading for each author if you have several authors.
Okay, nice.
And you can have headings for the dates also. If you this was difficult to put together because of the way.
See how it says April?
So you have, they were all written in 2016, and you have the May separated from April, separated from March, separated from February. And then you can have the same. You can do the same way with categories, but you have to make sure that when you do the categories, you have in the selection box, like for example, let's say. I just want to show you what you
So like the categories, if you have staff page, new faculty, full-time, it could just show, you know, in the different groupings, the different types of
Like
people.
if I want the categories like weight training classes, ordered by title, and then I go to pagination, and I do category, and then I cross fingers, and then and then it should give me my classes first, and then my weight training, and it keeps doing it in infinite scrolling. So.
And the infinite scrolling is taking a little while on the internet. There we go.
Okay, so
See how you have to-
so it was actually tricky to put together because of the.
So infinite scrolling, it scrolls for you? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So as long as you have your mouse or your finger go down, it will keep loading the new articles, if there are more. There are actually a few things you didn't see, you didn't notice, because I'm logged in. Some of my articles are not visible to the user when it's not logged in, but you can show them anyway. I was able to.
So some of the articles are for registered users only, so.
But you may want the user that are not registered to see it anyway and see that there's more content. So you can say, okay, I want this, the first article here.
Oh, when you click on
It says login to see the content.
So that's the authorized user.
So and that there's I'm going to show you in a minute what you need to do that. But here, when the user clicks on the article, it takes him to the login instead of the article itself. So you can either show the intro text, you can show it, or have a link saying that you need to be authorized to see it. And this is done this way. Sorry for that.
Yeah, so that's not something that you do over at Rutgers, but if you have a business and you want to teach people that in order to see the content you have to log in, that's exactly what he's talking about. That concept's been around at Joomla for a very long time, but you're using it.
So you say, okay, excuse me. You say you want to show unauthorized text or not. So you say hide or show. And if you hide it, you can say, okay, my text that we replace it. That you do that the same with links. See, if you have a link, you can replace the link with the link label with an authorized link label. Like you can say register to read more. Same for categories, because you may have your category that's not authorized. So that's the same. You can say, okay, you need to be registered to see the category. Category content, because you see it, but you don't see the content. With modules, you can also do more. You can say, I want to show some modules, but only for articles that are related to others.
So we did that on the history website.
Yes.
We did that.
Yeah, I have the link here.
So that way you can have one module exist on 20 different pages, or the same module
So it's smart enough to only include the people that should be included. That's the best way to say it.
There's other ways to use the related module. To relate a module to an article, you need just one simple thing. You go to the selection, go to users related.
It's still catching up. There you go.
Yeah, users related, and you can relate by keyword, which is the old way it used to be done. Articles would show related to each other by having the same keyword in the meta tag. Now with the new versions of Joomla, we can relate by tag. I can also relate any content to an article.
How is that?
By tag. So if a category has a tag and the article has the same tag, the article is going to show the category page.
Wow. And what's the last one?
And you can relate to contact now too. So if you have an article that relates to a contact which is actually linked to a user, if the author of the article is the contact that shows on the page, the article is going to show. Here I have
It also did user ID as well, because I did it for Community Builder. Didn't you also do it by author?
Yeah, but it's the selection of
That selection.
author.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows here when some community builder is set up.
Yes.
On the page.
Okay.
If I tell my module to be at the position inside article, which is something that's set up is visible in the documentation. If you have inside article set up as a position, and you have the plugin and you have the plugin content related news in article, then you can show the module inside an article. So for example, I have this related exercise, and I'm going to show in my my exercise article, I want to show after the first paragraph a related item. I'm going to say I want to show my module after a paragraph, or after content, or before the content. After paragraph number 2, 1, 3, whatever. And if you have a fallback, it means that you either show the module or you don't show it if there is not enough paragraphs in the article. If you want to show the module after the 4th paragraph and there are only 3 paragraphs in the article, you either show at the end or don't show. I'll show you what it means.
Is that position, that inside content, something new with Joomla, or is that something?
No, this is something that's specific to like
that inside content option.
Inside article. You say
Inside
you write
article.
inside article. You have to type it.
You have to type it in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people don't know that you can type positions in
Yeah, that.
that box.
So it's inside dash article.
Yeah, inside that article. It's in the documentation if you forget about it. What it does.
I think with our environment, we would have to do that on the Is that right to the template?
It's not here.
Okay. The positions are long. The ones that show there, but if you're just typing. Right. Okay. I used to always create custom positions.
Before, when you had to load modules by position, now you load it by the ID, but when you had to load it by position, I would just type in any position. That's what it says. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just forgot to put it.
No, that's okay. So inside article, set the position, and then you have to turn the plugin.
So you have related by tag. So my article, where I want to put the module,
Yeah.
as a tag exercise, and the article I want to put in also has the tag exercise.
So you don't have to physically put the module in there.
No. No, it does great.
I'm sorry to answer.
See, I have to. Sorry, I have to look where I put it.
That's good. Okay, so those, I know for Rutgers people, I taught you how you can do, to put a module inside of an article. It would be curly brackets module, and then whatever the module ID is. What this is it's putting in the intelligence so you don't have to even do that. It'll be smart enough to just throw stuff into the article automatically.
By just selecting the position inside article.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We have to wrap our brains around it to think of how we'll use that.
Yeah, let me check. I just have 4 articles to check. Forgot where I put it.
So as long as the tags link to each other, right? You have the tag.
Should I say that's one of the last one I should look for?
Now the related is really only necessary if you have like a real web of content that needs to link in those types of ways. Like I used the example of history. So each faculty member may have a specialty in 10 different areas. And then you may want to click on the specialty and see what faculty members exist in those areas. Or if you click on faculty, I want to see what areas they specialize in. So that's kind of when you have to use something like this.
I'm sorry, I just forgot where I put my stuff. I'm going to let me go to the exercise article that I included. And let's see. Yes, we made a list of something. In my module, I showed it to you. Oh, so I messed up something. It's still plugging itself. I apologize for the delay. I don't know what I did. Or maybe it's because I haven't used it. Oh, well, I don't know what I've done. It should show between the first and the second paragraph, it should be the module showing up. But it's something I unset earlier, and I can't remember what I did. The content, the plugin is set up. my module. Is set up.
And the register one.
I don't know what how to. It's the right. Let's get some icons. Select by tag. Exercise with the kind of articles I want to show it from. I apologize, I don't remember why it's not working. I don't see why it's not working.
That article was.
Hmm?
It said this in some of them. Unpublished? It's unpublished there somewhere.
Yeah, but
I think she just exited out. We're still on though, right?
yeah, I'm sorry.
But Stuart left. If
Yeah, you have
it's
to
just
go.
us, we can get off of this. It's just us. Stuart dropped off.
And Dorothy.
He said he had to leave, and Dorothy dropped off.
I have to apologize, but I need to drop off due to a meeting. Okay.
Yes, that's okay.
Well, it's just us.
It's just us. So, but I want to keep going because I'm recording it. Right? So we want to keep recording.
Well, I'm going to see afterwards because so trust me on this. You should see the module in between the first and the second paragraph, and I don't see why I've done wrong here.
Maybe we're going to try that right away. Oh, we're going to play it. We're we're excited.
You also have you can download plugins on top of what you have available. So you go to the website and you'll see a few plugins. One is
So this plugin, do we have to download this, or is this
it's part of it.
That's part of it. Okay.
You have it already.
Okay.
You have to download you have to download if you want to show feeds in the modules.
Yeah, that. Michelle, do you want to see that, the feeds?
It's
Take it
I'll show you very quick.
to news feeds. That's very interesting.
I didn't try it out earlier because I was not on Wi-Fi, but
So news feeds, you have to install a plugin in order for the news feeds to work?
Yes.
Okay.
And that adds that little extra icon here.
Okay.
And once you have the newsfeed icon, then you can select additional options. You can put your newsfeed in there.
So the news feeds are just a URL link?
Just a URL link. You can have several. And you can say, okay, I want to show, when you have a count on your article that you said, I want 5 articles, you can say, I want to show them 5 per feed. And they will all get ordered by date.
And how do you format those feeds? Because you don't know how it's coming into you.
Usually, when you see a little RSS icon, you click on it and you have the feed you have.
So I mean the other way, how does Latest News Enhanced have the intelligence to be able to make it look nice? I guess I want to see it.
Because once you have the feed set up in there, you have to, you use the same way. I mean, you use the same layout. You can.
So that's the feed right now.
That's the feed right now.
So where's that feed pulling from? Can I see
The
what
Joomla website.
The Joomla website. But can it be like an external feed, right?
It's always external. It's always external. See, this is Joomla.org.
Oh, that's coming from Joomla.org.
Yeah. We would use this with like Rutgers Today's feed,
Yeah.
I think. Or we used to be able to do that unless they changed the format.
All right.
If you have a regular RSS feed, you can.
Okay, so that could be important. So do you have any feeds that you know of?
No, but like sometimes we go off the Rutgers Today ones that are having to do with medical research and stuff like that, and we like putting those up on our website.
Just
so
could be an
there's
interesting way to do it.
Mhm.
And what about essay autonomous? You're not displaying data out the side, right?
Not particularly, no.
And if you have images in your feed, you can show the images.
Really?
So that's what I've done. I can't show you on the screen, but I can show here on the computer very quick.
Did you lose connection or it's still running?
No, so just because this was not done.
Okay. Right, you're not sharing that one, right?
Let me check. Yes.
Can you share that?
I used to have images. No. Well, this is the feed from the same feed, but I still have images, but no.
Oh, that's our Zoom thing.
Yeah. When we had the Zoom.
Yeah. You went over
Okay. That's nice. Well, yeah, if there's an image in the feed, you control the image, you can select the head image, and then that's it.
Great.
So you can use the same way for the layouts, for everything. It's the same. It's just a different input. You don't have the input from the articles, you get it from the feed. The feeds are limited in the kind of stuff they show, but you can still show category, you have the dates, you have the text. You usually have images.
So if there's a news feed that a website needs to show, and you have the RSS feed, we can make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Using this tool. Because that's one of the problems when you show a feed, you don't have that much control over it, so it doesn't look nice. This tool.
On the Nemo side. Oh, you have it. The Nemo side, you have, on the left, there's a regular feed. They used to show images, but they stopped doing it. But now it's just at the regular. Mine in the middle, it's the feed that shows my latest stuff. My latest news. And then you have like the regular feed, you can just add a date or whatever you want. But you can use latest news the same way as you do with regular articles.
Can you send us this link?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's the
Yes. Yeah, like I can't read it all.
It's demo 3, demo 3, that's simplifyweb.com. Demo 3, that's simplifyyourweb.com. And then you see all the extensions.
2 Ys.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's a few, there are a few examples, and they're actually the same kind of view. Because I have a slow connection, so it shows slow.
Yeah.
It shows. You also have the examples. I explain the examples. For example, I have the fitness module, and then I tell you I have the module showing, and then I tell you how to do it, all the settings you have to go through to make it work. Sometimes you have to add a little CSS to make it even nicer, but the module doesn't cover everything. Sometimes you need to do extra work. So for the CSS part, you go, now I'm moving to the theme part. You can add your CSS right in the extension.
They made the window bigger.
Yeah, and at the end, and you have now you have line.
It's really nice. Yeah.
But it's very useful in the way that you may not want to have your CSS in your template, because once you put your CSS in your template, it loads on every page. When you have it in your module, it only shows where you want it shows. So that's the advantage. It makes the page load faster if you do it like that. And it adds your CSS to the CSS that's created on the fly by the module. So then it's all condensed and everything. So.
And in our setup, we don't, nobody but our team can edit the regular CSS. So this way you've got the power to do this inside of a module. You can tweak spacing, Or you could have us do it and let us know what you want to do.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying, like, do we have access to do all this stuff that he's talking about?
You actually do. I mean, we don't have a class where we're going through it. We don't teach this necessarily because of the complexity, but I think it's a good idea for you to understand how it works.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then you'll ask even better questions.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what the purpose of it is.
Yeah.
You have to be able to understand from the back end.
What's happening.
Yeah, exactly. While you're experimenting, you can set either the module or menu item to be registered, which means you've got to log into the front end to be able to see it.
Right.
So this way,
That's
what that means.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so it won't show on the public side. But
And then log into the front end,
you can see what it looks like.
Yeah, and
what
then
we're
you
doing.
can have it on there's open source, there's record.
Okay.
If you make it register, but then if you have other people in your department that are logging in, they will see it.
Into Joomla.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
log
that's
into the-
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the only one that updates the
So
website.
they don't sort out. Like if Jenny logs in and sees something there and doesn't realize why it's there,
Right.
you just may need to.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, I'm just fiddling around, just trying to.
Yeah. So Olivier, is there anything else that you want to?
There are other things that I think we're.
I think we're good. Okay. So I want to officially end the user group meeting. So since it's recording, I want to thank everyone for coming. And we will let you all know when the next user group meeting is. So thank you to everyone. And
Thank you.
we can hit, what do I do? So now let me just do this housekeeping first before you guys leave. So I am going to stop the presenter. Okay, and I'm going to stop the meeting. And I stop the recording. Okay.
All right.
So the meeting is officially over, and then I'll be able to. So this whole meeting, the recording, I'm going to put up on the user group website, at joomlausersnj.com. I'll email it to you because you registered through the Rutgers link.
Yes.
And do you have a copy of your presentation that you
Yes.
had? If you could send that to me, and then I can put that on the user group site.
I could show the PowerPoint. I can send you, but
Yeah, that would be helpful.
the site I can send you a backup of the whole site.
They're not going to be able to do that.
So then there's the demo,
Just
the demo
the
site.
PowerPoint
Just
would be
link to
helpful.
the
The
demo
demo,
site.
demo
Yeah.
site,
That's all.
the documentation of the
And the PowerPoint. Can't send you that yet. So just so I can show them just a quick example. So I'm going to.
I have it. Oh, I have it.
You're not on. So leave the meeting, end the meeting,